Asda isn't just a British supermarket anymore. It's a precisely engineered shopping experience designed to make you overspend while you think that you're actually saving. So today we're walking through Asda's aisles with our eyes wide open, decoding the psychology, the pricing tricks, and the insider secrets that separate savvy shoppers from everyone else, walking out having spent £80 when they came in for milk. And the first clue is hidden in the price tags. Ever feel like you're missing something at Asda? You probably are. Those price tags aren't just showing prices, they're speaking a secret language. And once you crack the code, you'll never shop the same way again. When you see a price ending in 0.00, like £3 or £5, that's a signal. It means that product has been marked down to a manager's clearance or end-of-line item. Asda uses these round numbers to create left-digit bias. Your brain sees £3 and processes it as significantly cheaper than £3.17, even though it's only 17p different. Now here's where it gets sneaky. Those bright yellow rollback stickers scream limited time savings. But many of those rollback prices aren't actually lower than 2 weeks ago. Consumer watchdogs have caught Asda artificially inflating the was price right before the rollback to make the discount look massive. Look for the small R symbol in the top right corner. That means the rollback is regional, only available in certain stores. Asda uses regional rollbacks to test pricing psychology in different postcodes. Shoppers in wealthier areas might see fewer rollbacks than budget neighborhoods. It's price discrimination, but perfectly legal. The algorithm excludes club card prices, promotions, and multi-buys. You're not getting the guarantee you think you are. Here's what most British shoppers forget. Asda is owned by Walmart. And that's not just trivia, it's the reason every tactic in this video works. What you're experiencing is American psychological warfare, perfected over decades, now deployed across the UK. Walmart spent years studying traffic patterns, cart psychology, and impulse triggers. They brought that playbook to Britain. Ever notice Asda trolleys are massive compared to Tesco or Sainsbury's? Walmart research showed larger trolleys make shoppers buy 40% more because an empty trolley creates psychological discomfort. Your brain sees empty space and thinks, I must need more. Asda introduced self-checkout lanes earlier and more aggressively than most UK supermarkets. Why? Because Walmart discovered that when shoppers scan their own items, they're less likely to question prices. There's no cashier watching, no accountability, just you and the growing total you're trying not to look at. Those scan-and-go handsets, you scan as you shop, constantly reminded of your running total. Studies show this makes shoppers add just one more thing because the total feels abstract. By the time you pay, you've normalized the number. And those displays at the end of every aisle, they're not showing popular items. They're high-margin products disguised as deals. Research shows shoppers assume end-cap items are on sale, even when they're not. Asda rotates high-profit items through those spaces and watches them fly off the shelves. It's American retail psychology, battle-tested in 4,700 Walmart stores, now perfectly calibrated for British shoppers who have no idea they're playing a game invented in Arkansas. And one of their most profitable imports, the George clothing section. Walk past Asda's George clothing section and you'll see cheap, cheerful clothes. But here's what most don't realize. George is one of Asda's most profitable divisions, with margins that make grocery sales look like charity. Average markup on groceries? 5 to 15%. Markup on George clothing? Often 300% or more. That £8 t-shirt costs Asda less than £2 to produce. But because it's positioned next to Primark in shoppers' minds, £8 feels like a bargain. Here's the insider secret. George products are manufactured in the same factories as far more expensive brands. Some jeans come from the same Bangladeshi facilities as brands charging £40 to £60. The difference? Labels and marketing. Let's talk about what hits you the moment you walk through the door. Ever wonder why Asda bakeries are always near the entrance and why the bread smell follows you everywhere? That's engineered temptation, based on decades of sensory marketing research. The smell of baking bread triggers serotonin and dopamine in your brain, chemicals associated with happiness and reward. It makes you feel comfortable, nostalgic, and hungry, even if you just ate. Studies show shoppers exposed to bakery smells spend up to 30% more. But here's the insider secret. Asda doesn't time baking to natural demand. They time it to shopper traffic patterns. Peak hours are 3 to 6 p.m. That's when they pump out fresh loaves. Not to sell the most bread, but because the smell drives purchases across the entire store. And that smell isn't always from actual baking. Some Asda stores use scent diffusers that release bakery aromas even when nothing's in the oven. The smell is real, the fresh bread, sometimes just yesterday's batch reheated. Once that bread smell has primed you, Asda's won. Your defenses are down. That shopping list, your brain's too busy feeling cozy to stick to it. By the time you reach the bakery, you're adding croissants you had zero intention of buying. It's weaponized nostalgia, designed to override your rational decision-making, and it works every single time. But the manipulation doesn't end inside the store. It starts before you even park your car. Asda fuel is often 2 to 4p cheaper per litre than Shell or BP. Looks like a great deal, right? But here's what that cheap fuel really does. It baits you into the store. It's a Trojan horse on your commute. Asda doesn't make much profit on fuel. Sometimes they barely break even, but they don't care, because 70% of people who fill up at supermarket fuel stations enter the store afterward. And once you're inside, the average quick shop totals £25 to £40. Asda's not making money on your fuel. They're making it on the spontaneous shop that follows. Asda strategically places fuel station entrances leading directly to the convenience section. You walk in seeing meal deals, snacks, drinks, all high-margin impulse buys. The essentials like milk, they're deeper in. By the time you get there, you've already grabbed 3 unplanned items. And pay at pump? When you don't walk inside to pay, it feels like you saved time. But that creates a mental credit. Your brain says, I was so efficient, I deserve a little treat. So you pop in for coffee and leave with £15 worth of snacks. Even better, Asda's app tracks your fuel purchases and sends targeted vouchers. Filled up twice this month, here's £2 off your next shop. But that voucher only works on £40 plus spends. You came in planning £25, but that voucher makes you add another £15 to claim your £2 saving. It's not a fuel station. It's a loss leader engineered to turn a 90-second fuel stop into a £40 shopping trip. Now, let's talk about something that looks environmentally friendly but hides a sneaky price trick. Asda's wonky veg boxes look brilliant. Misshapen vegetables at discount prices to reduce food waste. Environmentally friendly, budget-conscious, feel-good shopping. Except, here's what Asda doesn't tell you. You're not always saving money. Sometimes you're paying more. Consumer groups found per kilo pricing on wonky veg is often higher than standard loose vegetables. That £1 box of wonky carrots? You're getting 400 grams for £1, which is £2.50 per kilo. Meanwhile, loose carrots are £1.80 per kilo. You paid more for vegetables that look worse. But Asda knows shoppers don't do that math in the aisle. The £1 price point feels cheap. Your brain processes only a quid as a win. The fact that you could have bought more for less doesn't register until you're home. And wonky veg boxes hide quality variation. That 400 grams might include 3 decent carrots and 2 that are borderline compost. But it's pre-packaged, so you can't inspect them, and you're not returning a £1 box of vegetables. Asda knows this. The low price makes complaints feel petty. Even the environmental angle deserves scrutiny. Yes, selling misshapen veg reduces waste, but supermarkets created the perfect vegetable standard in the first place. For decades, Asda rejected wonky veg from suppliers. Now, they're selling that same rejected produce at similar margins and marketing it as progressive. It's repackaged waste at premium prices disguised as ethics. And shoppers are applauding while paying more per kilo. But there's one final trick they save for the very end of your shop. You're standing in the checkout queue. Your shop is done, and suddenly you're surrounded by chocolate bars, energy drinks, magazines and gum. You weren't hungry 2 minutes ago, but now that dairy milk is looking tempting, this is where Asda's profits peak. Asda puts high-margin impulse buys at checkout for one reason: boredom. When you're waiting in line, your brain shifts into dwell mode. You're not focused anymore, you're just standing there. And that's when your defenses are lowest. Research shows 70% of checkout purchases are unplanned, and those items, chocolate, gum, energy drinks, have profit margins of 40 to 60%. That £1.20 Snickers costs Asda about 40p. Your 10-second impulse just netted them 80p profit. Multiply that across millions of weekly shoppers, and checkout lanes generate tens of millions in pure profit annually. Asda positions items at eye level for adults and kids simultaneously. Parents see energy drinks, kids see candy. Both create nagging pressure. And when a kid asks for chocolate while you're stuck in a queue, saying no feels harder. You're tired. You've been shopping for 40 minutes. Your willpower is shot. Even self-checkouts have impulse displays now. Right before you pay, there's a rotating stand of snacks. Asda's research showed that even without a cashier, shoppers still impulse buy. The psychology doesn't need a human, it just needs proximity and timing. And those meal deal combos at checkouts? The profit margin is massive. You could have bought those items separately for less, but packaged as a deal, your brain sees value. The checkout isn't where your shop ends. It's where Asda's psychological playbook peaks. If this video changed how you'll shop at Asda, comment with the trick that shocked you most. And subscribe, because we're pulling back the curtain on every major UK supermarket. Shop smart and save your money. Thanks for watching.